Welcome to Mercola's Cellular Wisdom, where we shine a bright light on the sunniest side of health insights. I'm Ethan Foster, the man who examines life with a microscope and sometimes forgets to clean the lenses.
And I'm Alara Sky, the woman who believes that if intelligence had a vitamin, it would definitely be spelled vitamin M-E. But until the day that supplement is discovered, we're here to talk about something infinitely more tangible. Vitamin D, the sunshine nutrient that's the star of more than just your bone health.
I hear vitamin D is the new black, in terms of fashion statements for your cells, of course. If we're going to have a shortage of something, I'd personally prefer it to be my credit card debt. But apparently the world has a shortage of vitamin D.
A cosmic irony, wouldn't you say? We all revolve around this fiery ball in the sky, yet so many of us are running dangerously low on the very nutrient it helps produce. Think about that. We're basically living next door to a bakery and complaining there's no bread in the house.
Let's set the table for why vitamin D matters. According to experts like Dr. Michael Holick, global vitamin D deficiency is a massive problem. People in sunny spots still manage to miss out. We can't just blame dark winters in Scandinavia.
Right? Or blame the polar bears. Or blame that neighbor who keeps your side of the property in perpetual shade. Darker skin requires more sun exposure to generate the same levels of vitamin D as lighter skin. And beyond that, many of us spend our days indoors, gloomily hugging the nearest fluorescent bulb.
Dr. Holick mentions that vitamin D deficiency undermines, well, practically everything. Bone strength, immune function, risk of infections, and even the risk of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. It's the Swiss Army knife of nutrients, and we're still bungling it.
And we're not just bungling it, we're putting it through the ringer. This deficiency can set off a chain reaction that leaves bones weaker, immune systems less robust, and certain chronic diseases more likely. The sunshine vitamin might sound like the title of a comedic musical, but in reality, it's a serious tool for health.
Let's talk about guidelines for a second. The Endocrine Society suggests 600 IU for adults under 70 and 800 IU for those over 70. But plenty of doctors, including Dr. Holick, think these numbers are about as helpful as a beach umbrella in a snowstorm.
I love how guidelines always sound so neat. Take this, you'll be fine. Meanwhile, your neighbor who had a vitamin D test might tell you, nah, I had to take a lot more to get mine up. Then you stand there, blinking, wondering if you should be swallowing 600 IU or 6,000.
That's where Dr. Sunil Wimalawansa steps in, talking about vitamin D as a threshold nutrient. He says when you're very low, any boost helps a ton. But once you approach decent levels, a bit more or a bit less doesn't drastically change your health outcome.
Like turning on a faucet. If there's barely any water flowing, a slight twist transforms a trickle into Niagara Falls. But if it's already running strong, a teeny extra turn might not do much.
Which is why so many experts push for testing. Get your baseline, see where you stand, and then figure out the supplementation strategy. But let's not stop there. Plenty of other insights came from the 2024 International Virtual Vitamin D Forum.
For instance, Dr. Holick noted that many pregnant women, even those taking prenatal vitamins, show up with insufficient vitamin D. Vitamin D for pregnant moms is crucial. We're talking about reduced risk of preeclampsia, fewer preterm births, basically better outcomes for both mother and child.
Isn't it interesting that a deficiency in pregnant women can lead to all sorts of complications like higher C-section rates and potential health problems for the baby? Sometimes we attribute those to genetics, stress, or even the alignment of the stars, but maybe it's just a shortage of sunshine.
That cosmic alignment angle must be your secret dream to be an astrologer, Ethan. But yes, often the simplest things have the biggest impact. A deficiency might just be overshadowed by all the complicated factors swirling around pregnancy, which ironically includes the literal overshadowing of the sun.
Another piece of the puzzle is cancer. Dr. William Grant presented evidence linking higher vitamin D levels to lower cancer risk, including breast, colon, and prostate. The sunshine vitamin steps in as a bodyguard, so to speak, by playing a role in preventing the spread of cancer cells and cutting back on new blood vessel formation that tumors need.
Makes sense. If you put cancer under a spotlight it hates, like that friend who avoids camera flashes at all costs, maybe it'll shrink away from the glare. In this case, vitamin D does the shining.
Then there's brain health. Higher vitamin D levels seem associated with a reduced risk of cognitive decline, dementia, Alzheimer's. Dr. Grant also emphasized that the time frame of studies matters. If you monitor individuals for a short period, you might see a nice effect. But over decades, data can get muddy because so many variables creep in.
The brain is a labyrinth of puzzles. If a dash of vitamin D helps keep those synapses from misfiring, it's certainly worth noting. Maybe in the future we'll call vitamin D liquid sunshine for the mind.
Let's not forget the all-important question. What about safety? Dr. Wimalawansa points out that vitamin D is generally quite safe at recommended doses. But if you go crazy high, you risk hypercalcemia, too much calcium in the blood.
Hypercalcemia, a fancy word for your body is turning into a chalkboard. Actually, it's more serious than that. But the comedic exaggeration helps me remember.
He also emphasizes that you don't diagnose vitamin D toxicity based just on blood levels. You need actual symptoms like fatigue, muscle weakness, nausea, or vomiting. So basically, you'd feel pretty awful.
Which is good news because it means accidental toxicity is rare. You'd have to be extremely enthusiastic about vitamin D to get yourself into that predicament.
Yes, so supplementation, good. But do it thoughtfully and monitor levels. Meanwhile, Dr. Aileen Burford Mason zooms in on vitamin D's ability to modulate the immune system. She highlights how it helps prevent both underactivity, when your immune system is like a sleepy guard dog, and overactivity, when it's an overly excited puppy attacking everything in sight.
She also points out that magnesium helps vitamin D get to where it needs to go. Some people pop vitamin D and ignore magnesium, then wonder why the results look like a cheap sequel.
It's like using a remote control with no batteries. Vitamin D might be the remote, but without magnesium, you're stuck pressing buttons on a powerless device.
Which leads me to Dr. Richard Cheng's commentary on vitamin D resistance. Some folks need higher doses because of various genetic factors, obesity, or certain medications. And if you're not paying attention, you might be shortchanging yourself even when you think you're doing everything right.
He also discussed using vitamin D to manage autoimmune conditions and metabolic disorders. His practice suggests many real-world successes, especially when combined with other lifestyle factors like diet, exercise, and stress management.
That holistic approach is never going out of style, kind of like a little black dress that pairs with everything. Vitamin D is a star player, but it can't win the game alone.
So if we wanted the bullet points, vitamin D is vital for bones, immune function, possibly reduces cancer risk, boosts brain health, and can help in autoimmune scenarios. But the optimum intake isn't one size fits all.
Yes, the more we know, the more we realize each person's baseline is different. It's like shoe sizes. Who decided size 9 is perfect for everyone?
Now, let's talk about how to get your daily dose of sunshine. Safe sun exposure is the gold standard. But there's this interesting twist. If your diet is high in seed oils, the sun can become more foe than friend.
Exactly. Because seed oils are high in linoleic acid, which can oxidize under UV light. Imagine slathering your skin with a substance that invites harmful breakdown products and fosters inflammation. That's basically what can happen internally if your diet's flooded with these oils.
So, the experts suggest that if you're indulging in seed oils, you might want to limit your sun exposure to early morning or late afternoon until you phase those oils out.
Right. Once your body's rid of the leftover linoleic acid, you can soak up the midday sun in a more carefree way. But until then, watch for any signs of redness, otherwise known as your personal "you're overcooking it" alarm.
We should also note that skin color matters. Darker skin has more melanin, which is a natural UV shield, so generating vitamin D takes longer under the same sunlight conditions.
By the way, if you have more body fat, you might store more of those oxidized oils. That means you need an extended break from direct midday sun while your body detoxifies from that leftover chaos.
It's sort of like having an attic full of old newspapers. You can't just light a candle up there and hope for the best. You've got to clear things out to avoid a massive meltdown.
A meltdown that might require a good fire extinguisher, or in this analogy, a big bottle of sunscreen plus a reading of the local burn ordinance.
Right. Meanwhile, there are strategies for sun protection that go beyond slathering yourself in a thick layer of chemicals. We're talking about astaxanthin, a marine-based antioxidant.
Marine-based, so imagine shrimp with superhero capes. Astaxanthin can help neutralize free radicals, providing extra internal sun protection. Then there's niacinamide cream, which strengthens your skin barrier and can reduce DNA damage.
And for those who are especially concerned, a baby aspirin can inhibit the formation of harmful metabolites from linoleic acid in the skin, further reducing risk.
So this is definitely not your standard put on SPF 1000 and hide in a cave approach. It's about giving your body the best possible conditions to handle sunlight safely while reaping all those vitamin D benefits.
Precisely, and going full circle. Vitamin D from sunlight can be better than just swallowing capsules, but supplementation is still a valid route, especially if you live where the sun is too shy to make an appearance half the year.
I'm looking at you, places where winter starts in August and ends in July. People there might need some help from a bottle.
But a measured approach is key. If someone is low, they might need a higher dose initially to get levels up, then they can dial it back. That's the nuance.
And keep in mind how vitamin D ties into so many areas of health. We've covered bones, immunity, chronic diseases, pregnancy, cancer risk, and cognitive function. It's like the universal remote for your body's well-being.
Yet some folks still treat it like an optional extra, as though it were sprinkles on a cupcake.
Well, after hearing from the experts at the 2024 International Virtual Vitamin D Forum, It's clear we need more than a sprinkling. We should be building a strong foundation with sun exposure, nutrient-dense diets, and, if necessary, a supplementation plan that fits our personal circumstances.
Dr. Mercola, whose forum we're referencing, consistently highlights the synergy of vitamin D, magnesium, and balancing your intake of oils to avoid that dreaded oxidation in the sun.
A synergy that says, you can't walk this path alone. If vitamin D is the lead actor, magnesium, antioxidants, and healthy dietary choices are the best supporting cast.
Let's underline that point. Vitamin D is a team player. It's not the entire story. But by ensuring we have enough, we set the stage for better health outcomes. Less bone trouble, fewer infections, potentially lower disease risk, and a sharper mind.
So, in a world where so many are searching for the next miracle, it turns out we're orbiting a miracle every single day. The sun is a giant nuclear reactor, kindly beaming down your daily dose of vitamin D fuel. All you have to do is be mindful about how and when you get it.
Before we wrap, I like to think of vitamin D as a sort of wise elder at a family gathering. It quietly reminds everyone, your immune system, bones, brain, and even your cancer prevention squad, to behave.
Yes, and if one of those family members starts acting up, cancer cells going rogue, bones losing density, or the immune system forgetting its job, vitamin D steps in to restore some sense of order.
So, Dr. Mercola's cellular wisdom today says, embrace the sun responsibly. Watch out for seed oils. Consider that your body may need more or less vitamin D than the official guidelines. And don't forget the synergy with other nutrients like magnesium.
Because if you're going to give your immune system the pep talk it deserves, you better bring the entire motivational squad: sunshine, antioxidants, a balanced diet, and supportive minerals.
A final takeaway: don't underestimate the sunshine vitamin. It has more responsibilities than an overworked office intern. With a little planning, testing your levels, adjusting your lifestyle, maybe reducing seed oils, and supporting your body with the right nutrients, vitamin D can be your silent partner in good health.
It's the ultimate friend you never knew you needed, but can't afford to lose. So next time you feel the sunshine, just remember, you're soaking up more than a pleasant mood boost. You're taking in a substance that helps keep all systems in check.
That's the big picture. All right, folks, that's a wrap on this episode of Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom.
Thank you for tuning in. Let's keep looking up, at the sun, at our health, and at a future with fewer deficiencies and more radiant living.
And remember, if the sun's shining, it's giving you a free gift. Don't waste it.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us today, and may your vitamin D levels be as abundant as your sense of humor.
Until next time, everyone, stay informed, stay sunny, and take care of those cells.
And stay sharp. Or, if you can't, at least stay bright.
We'll see you all soon on the next episode of Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom.
Goodbye for now, and don't forget to let a little sunshine into your life.